Well, I might be exposing myself and all real estate agents by making this video, but I think it's going to add value to you, so here it is. In this video, I'm going to be going over how you should do for sale by owner the smart way. Because whenever I see a for sale by owner listing, I'm going to be honest with you guys, most of them are just complete shit. And I wanted to make this video to point you in the right direction of if you're going to go for sale by owner, how to do it. Because again, I'm not trying to offend anyone that does them, but most of them are horribly done and they don't ever end up selling. And I just don't really get it, honestly, because I'm like, I get that you don't want to pay a real estate agent, whatever you think with that, that's your thoughts. But if you're going to try selling your house, at least put some damn effort into it because you're selling a house. So if you're not going to pay a real estate agent to sell the house for you, let's just get this up front and out of the way in the first place. If you're going to do this by yourself, don't half-ass it. Also, while you're watching this video, kind of think in the back of your mind, why don't you want to go with a real estate agent? Is it because you don't want to pay them the commission? Is it because you've had a bad experience in the past? Is there just something holding you back that kind of left a bad taste in your mouth? So you're like, screw those people, I'm just going to do it on myself and make myself the money. Because of course, real estate agents, it's a service-based job. You're providing a service of selling or buying a house, and that's what you're paying for. So maybe you just got a bad apple and they were just a horrible agent, because there are a lot of poor agents out there because of the low barrier of entry to become a real estate agent. So don't write them all off, but again, just keep that in the back of your mind when you're watching this video. So if you decide to list your home by yourself, you're going to want to think how a real estate agent thinks, and you're going to want to be paying attention to the market. Look back over the past 3 to 6 months and see what has sold that is a comparable property, meaning it's very similar to yours, and what that actually sold for. Because one of the biggest issues I see with for sale by owners is they have zero clue how to price their property, and therefore most of them end up being way overpriced. With most buyers being skeptical in the first place of for sale by owners, when they see something that is super overpriced, that turns them off even more, because they're like, well, why is this listed so high and why don't they want an agent involved in it? So again, you want to look at the last couple months of what's been happening in your specific market. Don't get super wide with this. Keep it pretty local, because real estate is a local game. So look at what's been selling and base your list price off of that. You don't want to have some exorbitant price, because again, it's going to turn off buyers. You want something that's actually competitive, that's going to be up in the running with other just regularly listed homes. Because I find that a lot of these for sale by owners tend to be people who maybe they reached out to an agent, they got a price from them, they didn't like the price, so they said, I'm going to do it myself. Or they're just someone who has that thing in their head that, hey, it's my house, so it's got to be worth more than everyone else's house, right? And I get the sentimental value, but it doesn't necessarily equate when you're selling or buying. The next tip is so simple, I almost feel bad having to say it, but take good pictures of your house. Nobody wants to look at a listing that has a Google Street View from 5 years ago and the home isn't even the same color anymore. And on the other hand, they don't want to see these crappy listing photos where the owner takes 2 pictures of the outside, like 1 or 2 pictures of the inside. You see like half the kitchen and a bedroom. They're horribly taking cell phone pictures. And again, it's just showing that, like, not necessarily distrust, but it's definitely not building trust when you're presenting your house in such a poor manner. And if you're overpricing it, people are like, what's going on here? So you should be taking pictures like the ones that you're seeing for all the other homes listed in the MLS, and just copy that and be like, hey, they're taking 30 pictures. Let's take 30 pictures and post them. Actually have them look good. And if you don't want to pay a real estate agent with this, since you're going for sale by owner, you're saving some money. Maybe spend a little bit and actually hire a photographer to come out and take professional photos of your house. Then it's really going to stand out on the for sale by owner market. Because I feel like one of the biggest struggles for people selling for sale by owner to actually end up with a successful sale is they just don't have good marketing. Because realtors nowadays are doing way more than just listing a property online to market that property. They're doing mailings, they're calling people, they're telling their friends, they have social networks on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, whatever it is, they're putting it everywhere. So it's going to be distributed to so many more people than you will with your for sale by owner, because typically you can only list it on Zillow for sale by owner. And then maybe if you list it on like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist type sites, you're going to get a little bit more exposure, but you're not going to be on all the home buying websites like the way you would be if you just went with an agent and put it in the MLS. Right now, I feel like I'm basically telling you how I would list your property, so if you're getting any value from this, just hit that like button. Next is going to be holding an open house. Again, you're not a real estate agent, but you're selling a house, so you want to think like a real estate agent. And holding an open house is going to be an open invite to buyers that, again, are skeptical of these for sale by owners, because a big reason I don't see a bunch of success with them is because people don't like calling on the phones anymore. They're not going to call an owner to ask them about the property and all this stuff. But at least if you have an open house, they can hit that when they're going to see other homes that weekend, or they'll actually make a trip to go out and meet in person, because it's a lot easier meeting in person at the house, looking things over, than people just get so much anxiety on the phone nowadays that they don't call. And throughout this whole process, you want to be responsive, because as an agent who has cold called for sale by owners before, it's a very rare occasion that they actually pick up the phone. So again, if you don't want to spend the money and you don't want to hire an agent, you're doing the job of an agent. So you have to pick up your phone. You have to be responsive if you actually want to sell your house. Like, it's a big thing, and people get pretty, not needy, but they want this stuff to move kind of fast. So when they're waiting on a phone call from you because they've left you 2 voicemails and it's been 3 days and you still haven't gotten back to them, do you really think they're going to keep reaching out to try to buy your house? And again, if you don't have the time for this, I completely get it. Selling a house is a big undertaking while just hiring an agent, let alone trying to do it all yourself, especially if you have zero experience of ever selling homes before. It's going to be stressful. It's going to be a lot of work. So like, that is why people just say, hey, we're going to pay the couple % in commission and just not have to deal with this. Just get little reports from my agent about how everything's going, what contracts we have and all that, and just make it a lot easier. But again, if you want to do for sale by owner, this is probably a good way to do it. So here's a last little bonus I want to add in for the for sale by owner stuff is, if you are going to list for sale by owner, I highly recommend at least offering a buyer's agent commission. So offer 2.5%, 3% to a buyer's agent that brings a buyer to a successful sale. And the reason being is because it's going to open up a lot more buyers to actually see your house. Because again, it's not going to be distributed everywhere like it would if you listed in MLS. But if an agent sees it on Zillow and they see you're offering a commission, they're going to actually maybe push that to their buyers, being like, hey, I saw this, it's on market, but it's not on the MLS, so maybe as many people didn't see it. Do you want to go see it? They're offering a buyer's commission so I can help you through the process. Whereas if you offer 0, do you really think an agent's going to be pushing a for sale by owner to their buyer, even though they have no way of making money out of it unless their buyer comes up with money? It's just, again, something that's naturally working against you as a for sale by owner. And also having an agent involved is going to make them have to do all the paperwork that they already do for every buyer's transaction they have. So it's going to actually know as the seller everything's getting done correctly, because again, you're going into this blind and you have no clue actually how to sell a house. You just heard it's a good idea, so you're going to try. So that's about it for the for sale by owner stuff. And if you're someone sitting there, well, why would I pay an agent for all this simple stuff? There's a lot more that goes on behind the scenes, a lot of paperwork that has to get done, a bunch of communication in between. This is just the stuff that I see that's the weak spots for sale by owners, because again, their biggest issue is marketing. They're just not having enough people see their stuff. And again, people are just naturally skeptical of for sale by owners because they're just so used to agents listing houses, agents helping buy houses, that if they're not involved, they feel like something's going on that's a little weird. But just remember, it's like any service type business. Is cooking a super difficult thing to do for dinner? No, but you're still gonna go out, probably pay 50 to 100% more than if you cooked it at the house, to just go out and have a good dinner at a restaurant. Or like painting your house. Is it that hard to tape and paint? No. If you want it done correctly, quickly, and probably look a lot better than you're going to do it, pay a painter. It just ends up a lot easier. So like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you had something against real estate agents and you don't want to list with them, maybe you just had a bad apple, you had a bad experience, and they were a crappy agent. Those are around all the time. So if this video pushed you towards for sale by owner or pushed you towards getting an agent, if you do look for an agent, I just highly recommend doing some actually research on them. Look at their Google, look at their reviews, look at if they have a social media presence, what they're actually doing to market themselves, because that's what they're going to do to market your house. Just give them a call, reach out. Real estate agents are always looking for business. They're not going to turn down an opportunity to talk about listing your home. So you can just literally call, feel them out, see if you guys would be a good fit. So again, if you're going to do for sale by owner, it's not that I recommend it. I really don't. Again, it's a service-based business, real estate, so I think it's just worth paying the service and not having to worry about any of the stress and behind the scenes stuff as a seller or a buyer. But that's just my take on things. If you want to go for sale by owner, here's all the info. Take it and go wild. I'll catch you guys next week.